Tipsheet. MLB marketplace for relievers heats up. The Boston Red Sox landed Arizona Diamondbacks closer Brad Ziegler for two prospects that made the experts shrug. Second baseman Luis Alejandro Basobi and right-hander Jose Almonte. Neither is regarded as a blue chipper. The Cardinals have an army of similar young prospects in the low minors, fighting it out to reach Palm Beach or Springfield someday. So why didn't the Cardinals get Ziegler? It's hard to imagine Diamondbacks baseball czar Tony La Russa dealing with his old team, for one thing. And the Cardinals weren't among the teams reportedly pushing for Ziegler. Also, Arizona appeared to be asking more from every team but the Red Sox. Yahoo! Sports columnist Jeff Passan had this take: before Brad Ziegler was traded to Boston, the Diamondbacks were asking teams for frontline prospects, all top 100 type guys, some top 50, even higher. Cleveland, Toronto, the Cubs all wanted Ziegler, and all were gobsmacked by what the Diamondbacks ended up taking from Boston. Second baseman Luis Alejandro Basobi and right-hander Jose Almonte. So it goes on the trade market. Not everybody agrees on player valuations. The Cardinals figure to do something to their bullpen before the waivers free trade deadline, besides calling up elite starting pitching prospect Alex Reyes to make a Carlos Martinez-like debut in relief. MLB.com's Richard Justice looks at the scenario: the Cardinals don't absolutely need to make the trade the way some other teams do, but they may just be the most aggressive in attempting to do something. For one thing, they're the Cards. They've set the bar in a different place with 12 postseason appearances and 4 NL pennants in 16 seasons. For another thing, the Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina, Matt Holliday window won't be open forever. Some days, they look as good as ever, the team plenty good enough to play deep into October. But they're 8 games out of first place in the NL Central and 2 out in the NL Wild Card race. General Manager John Mozeliak has an assortment of options, from using some of his younger players to give the club a different look to the more cautious route of upgrading the back end of the bullpen. Among the names to watch: Philadelphia's Jeimer Gomez, San Diego's Brad Hand, Oakland's Ryan Dahl, and a pair of Yankees' Aroldis Chapman or Andrew Miller. Miller is under contract through the 2018 season, so the Cardinals might be willing to move one of their high-end pitching prospects not named Alex Reyes to get him. But bidding on him will get high, higher than it got for Ziegler. In a smaller deal, the Cardinals could deal from their huge outfield surplus, including solid prospects Charlie Tilson and Harrison Bader at Memphis. "Those types of decisions are well above what I do," Tilson told MLB.com. "I just enjoy the game so much and I feel very fortunate to have the opportunity. I go out every day and give it my all. You kind of let the people who know how to make those decisions take care of that. I love being in this organization." Mysteries of the universe, questions to ponder while wondering if former closer Trevor Rosenthal is on the right track. Has Johnny Manziel finally figured out that he screwed up royally? What would make Nick Saban's life a whole lot easier? How can we tell that NFL coaches make too much money? So what's with Russia and this Olympic doping again? Talking baseball, here is what folks are writing about our national pastime. David Schoenfield, ESPN. The Cubs' bullpen woes aren't quite as miserable as the popular perception, but it has been more mediocre than World Series worthy outside of closer Hector Rondon. While the Cubs have lost just one game they led after 7 innings, the Cubs' bullpen is 15th in the majors in ERA and 16th in win probability added. Also, most of the relievers have outperformed their FIP, so there's the potential the bullpen won't even be mediocre moving forward. Finally, Travis Wood and Clayton Richard are the only lefties. Richard has been terrible and Wood isn't the high-velocity guy you prefer in the late innings. Thus, Miller or Chapman makes sense. The issue with bringing in Chapman is that he probably has to be the closer, so you worry about what that could do to Rondon's pisk. Miller makes more sense and is reportedly the Cubs' No. 1 target. Except he'll cost more and there's no guarantee the Yankees will trade him anyway. Jeff Passan, Yahoo Sports. Seeing as the Cubs remain favorites to win the World Series even without Kyle Schwarber, the question of his dispensability has risen, particularly seeing as the Cubs need relief pitching and the Yankees have Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman. Miller, in particular, is desirable because of his ability to pitch in a set-up role and close, plus his reasonable deal that goes through the 2018 season. Chapman would be a rental, and one with baggage from a domestic incident that led to a month-long suspension. The Cubs, it should be said, do not want to trade Schwarber. The likelihood of them doing it is small enough that even addressing it is probably a time waster. But the question was posed to a dozen people in the game in recent weeks: why would the Cubs ever trade a bat like Schwarber for a relief pitcher? And only one answer seemed satisfactory. It has nothing to do with production and everything to do with opportunity. If the Cubs were to add Miller, he solidifies their chance to win the World Series this year. And the World Series to the Cubs, the theory went, is worth $1 billion. Billion, as in with a B. The math on this is inexact. Of course, the product of guesswork on the windfall that would accompany the Cubs' ability to charge an absurd amount of money for its TV rights when they're available in 2020 and the ancillary ticket/merchandise/sponsorship/advertising dollars that would make Walter White's money pile look sad. Jonah Carey aside, for decades, the Yankees have run the split front office. On one side is the Steinbrenner family and team president Randy Levin, along with the rest of the organization's Tampa contingent. On the other is Brian Cashman and the rest of the baseball operations department, dealing with day-to-day happenings in the Bronx. Sometimes the two factions agree, and everything runs smoothly. But with 2 weeks left until the trade deadline, a huge schism has emerged, with the Yanks struggling just to stay close to .500 and many superior teams ahead of them. The logical move is to trade multiple veterans for younger talent that could help the club in the future. The Tampa faction begs to differ. So now, With a stack of prime trade chips toiling on a team that's highly unlikely to make the playoffs, the Yankees sit at a stalemate. For a team that boasts just two starting position players under 32 years old, it's a really bad spot to be in. Megaphone, you can't sit there and tell a 22-year-old kid who comes into the big leagues. Maybe you can say, I wish somebody had said that to me when I was your age, and hopefully that might resonate. But I really don't think that anybody can learn from too much advice. Vertical line, you have to learn from failure, and that is the only way you can get experience.